Guys, welcome back to the No Victim. Am I looking here? Sure. No Victim Podcast, episode 18. I am here. I am Gabe No Victim. I'm here with my usual co-host, unfortunately. Fuck, dude. Pablo, the Menace, Farden.
I feel like my name changes each time. Like every episode, there's like a new version.
So we're here on location again at Let's Go Coffee in Emmaus, Pennsylvania.
Is there?
In the back room. No, I'm just kidding. We're right in the front lobby.
Never heard it put as a lobby, but I like that.
Well, what is it?
I don't know. We're in the cafe.
We're in the front. You walk in, you'll see us.
Right.
So guys, today I'm here with a special guest. He's one of my elite clients, Pennsylvania local. He's breaking out into the coaching space recently, hitting an 11.8K month this month in his coaching business. Top 5, the Big Cat Classic, Lehigh Valley Classic 2015 and 2016. Guys, without further ado, fitness coach and entrepreneur, bodybuilder, Zach Scarmack.
I was like, we gotta get the here.
Welcome to the pod, bro.
We need to get those mics that like we can like clap, where it's like an arm for us. You know, we'll get there.
Anyway,
what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude.
Awesome experience. So this is a little new to me. So
bro pulled up on his bike.
Excited to get into it.
Bro
Yes,
pulled up with a helmet on his head.
Yeah, had to do it.
Had to do it.
I was like, "Yo, Pablo, someone's trying to break it." Just kidding. Cool, man. So I'm curious. I want to hear about your life story. So actually, I've known Zach for a little bit. He's just, he's like a local guy. We went, grew up in the same area. You went to what, Easton High School?
Yeah.
Cool. So I went to Bangor, so that's like 20, 30 minutes away from here. So what, Easton's same?
From here? Yeah, like 30 minutes.
Oh, that's right. Because that's right. We're fucking in.
We're probably. It's probably 20, 30 minutes to Easton from here. And then I would say like Bangor is probably another 15, 20 minutes north of there, right?
You grew up in this area?
Yeah, since I lived in Jersey till about third, fourth grade, and then lived in PA ever since.
Oh, that's what's up.
Easton forever, pretty much.
That's what's up. And your family lives here too?
Yeah. They're still over in Easton, and I live over in Nazareth now.
That's what's up. You have any siblings?
Yeah, I got a younger brother and a younger sister.
So what? And I want to talk about this too because I'm curious more about your life story. So like, what got you into? So now you're a fitness coach. Recently your business started to like really blow up, and I wanted to have you on the podcast. You're obviously one of my clients, but what got you into like bodybuilding and like that type of thing in the first place?
I don't really know what got me into bodybuilding, but lifting in high school, the first time I ever actually got an arm pump, I was like, whoa, this feels awesome. And then ever since then, I just always worked out. My parents had a Bowflex in their basement. I started hitting the Bowflex. That was back when I used to ride the BMX bike. And
that's what's up.
I stopped coming out to ride. I was like, I got to get my lift in the basement. I got to get that pump. And then I want to say I saw a Ronnie Coleman video, as everybody
Do you know
knows.
which one it was?
One of them where he was screaming, "Yeah, buddy."
Of course.
You know what I mean? And then ever since then, I kind of just became infatuated with getting big muscles pretty much. You know 100%. What I mean? And it just never stopped. Started competing and haven't not worked out for a week ever.
Yeah.
And it's just
how old are you?
Became the lifestyle. I just turned 30 in January.
Okay, just turned 30. So how long have you been working out?
Since I was 16.
That's what's up.
So what is that? 14 years?
Yeah. I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you like in and around the gym for like even since I started. Did you go to Nazareth Barbell ever? Did you ever work out there?
I did. Yeah. When I forget what year. I only went there for a couple months. Yeah. And I would always. That's when I was working a job where I was working second shift, so I'd get off at 11.
Yeah.
And then I'd go there at like 11:30 because they had the key where you
could
go in. Yeah.
That was nice.
When nobody was, they had the boom box in every room. They had the metal plates.
You remember that, Pablo?
Of course.
Pablo was. We were regulars there.
Iconic that spot.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of people on here that have been.
Of course. I was actually thinking that originally when you originally
I wish
came.
it was still there. I literally live walking distance from that.
What
building.
What is it now?
I don't know,
dude. There's computers in there. They're doing like data processing.
Oh, man.
It's so fucked up. I looked in the door because the door was open. I was like, I saw desks and computers and like fluorescent light.
That's
I swear to God, it was crazy. It was years ago. I drove past there. It was like I drove past there years ago.
I remember, not that this is about me whatsoever, but I just have to share it. Brandon Morrow is like obviously somebody we all know, huge IFBB pro from our area. And he did a leg, you know how that the alleyway where the front door is for that place is like a slight incline? Him and I did the hardest leg prep like workout I've ever done in my life with that slight incline. I
believe you.
Do you think
so
this actually brings me to my question. I'm curious what your thought process is, because like I truly believe that, and I didn't really fully understand this until I did both, but like and now that you're in business, I guess I'll ask you two questions. Do you feel like bodybuilding is like one of the hardest things ever, and also that you've done personally ever? And also, do you think that now more than ever you can see the parallel between bodybuilding and business?
Yeah, definitely. Because realistically, they both come down to discipline.
Yeah.
When you're bodybuilding, you don't always want to go to the gym and go till failure and absolutely murder yourself in the gym. You don't want to force feed that food. Yeah. You don't want to do that cardio. It's kind of the same thing with business.
Right.
You know, sometimes you don't want to send 50, 60 DMs in a day, but you're disciplined, so you got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah.
Would you, if I may ask, would you say that bodybuilding was like your first brush up with like discipline in life?
Definitely.
Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like actively doing it, or was there something prior to that kind of led you down that road? Or?
Bodybuilding was definitely the first that had me like lock in for a goal that I could see and like actually hone in on the process, like daily, you know, get the meals in, get the cardio, get the workouts, do the posing. But the thing for me was at the time when I was bodybuilding, like, yes, my discipline for bodybuilding was like 100%. Like I would not miss, but the rest of my life, I like completely fell apart.
Preach.
Like I didn't care about anything besides bodybuilding. Like when I woke up in the morning, broke as fuck, my relationship was failing, I hit my poses. I'm like, I am fucking jacked though.
Yeah.
Okay, so it
was almost like the one constant.
Yeah, bodybuilding. Yeah,
in the chaos, right? Like
that's what something I didn't really learn until I was older. And like I can only like understand it looking back now, because like my discipline for bodybuilding was spot on, but I had no discipline in any other aspect of my life.
So why do you think most bodybuilders are broke?
Probably specifically because what I just said.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with that look, that goal, that winning that trophy. But the realization for me was after I won the trophy, like the momentum going into a show, like prepping, like you're like, I'm going to win this show. I feel like everything's blocked out because you're so invested in that 12-week prep. You're like, I'm blocking everything out. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And then I achieved what I wanted. I just wanted to place top 5 because it was my first show. And then after that, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, now what? I just got to go back to work and I'm still broke.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the hell?
And something I've noticed too, man, is like, and I even said this, you know, I was talking to Pablo when we were just making content the other day. I was like, it just takes so, I think like as humans, and a lot of like people, men don't realize this, is like when you spread yourself or you can be successful in anything, right? And just because you are working hard and that, you know, you did, you know, you got the bodybuilding win and it was good for the time being and it achieved that goal. Just because you're working hard, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily working hard in the right direction. I think that what is good though is like you learned what you needed to learn, and then you can take the principles that you learned from bodybuilding and apply them to business. Like that's the best case scenario, because I was the same way. I was like obsessed with bodybuilding. I had no fucking money. I had like no car. Like I was just like, I didn't give a fuck, because like it's like, and there was almost this recklessness about it where it was like
toxic.
You don't even give a fuck. Like you didn't give a fuck like what your clothes look like, what you drive. You'll sleep on the fucking floor as long as you have like a kitchen and like a way to get to the gym.
Yeah,
you just don't give a shit. Do you feel like it's the same way?
Literally exactly.
How many times do you compete?
Twice.
Okay, I competed once. So even still, like, and there's people that like live by this shit and they're fucking in their 40s and they're
and it's just
that way.
Like you said about working hard, but not like working hard in the right direction. Like I said before, looking back, it's like if I would have been working that hard with working that smart, I would be way further ahead. So I got the work ethic down. Now that I'm a lot older, I'm applying the working smart in the right direction with the same work ethic that I got from bodybuilding.
Dude, that's so profound that you said that, because that's like the most underrated trait nowadays is the work ethic. Is everyone's so obsessed with like optimizing and fucking like
Science-based.
and science-based and fucking like passive income and all this bullshit, but they don't realize that like, oh, you actually need to have work ethic to make anything fucking work. You get what I'm saying? Like the smarts behind a system only work when the person operating the system is applying themselves to the fucking system.
It is interesting though, because
Clip
it's like
that.
it's clip that up, clip that up.
Yo, clip that.
It is true though, because it's like I would say there. So I remember when Gabe and I have been friends for forever, but I remember when the only thing he had was bodybuilding.
That was literally me.
Right? So parents are like divorcing,
Literally
moving
me.
homes, like losing
Girlfriend
everything.
about to leave me.
Bro, right? Like to this day, I literally say like Gabe was one of my brokest friends. Legit, one of my brokest friends.
I was the
growing up.
brokest at that time. Now things are different now.
Good.
Things are different,
Yes,
way
sir.
different now. But back forever,
Sure,
I
of
literally
course.
didn't even learn how to like actually like save and manage money. I'm not even kidding you, until I was 25.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because what are they going to teach you that in school? No.
Yeah.
No, of course
Yeah.
Of course not. Why would they do that? But what I'm saying, my point is that bodybuilding, a lot of bodybuilders, I feel like they're almost like one trick ponies. Meaning
Yeah.
like they learn how to
They
do
put
this thing,
everything into
everything
that.
in, all
Yep.
cards are in, and like that's it. But like there's so much power, and this is like even Gabe was, and you to some degree, I'm just meeting you now, but like Gabe was honestly an inspiration to me before Gabe No Victim was even a thing. Because I just looked at him and I was like, he's my brokest friend, but he's also my most disciplined friend because he can do this. Look at those arms. You see it? Like it's,
He would always give me credit for that too. He'd be like, dude, you fucking like took like no money and like would go to Aldi's and like turned it into a muscle and like turned it into a physique. Like, he would give me so much credit for it.
Bro, he'd go to Walmart and his budget was $47, and that was all he had for the week. You know, if that, like,
A
you know, so,
bodybuilder will find any way to make it work.
Yes.
Just to make it work. They don't want to improve. They don't want to make more money. As long as they get their meals and their workouts, they don't fucking care.
right. But what's exciting, at least from my perspective, looking in on the fitness realm for you guys, it's like you're taking that discipline, that grit, that like the no like excuses attitude, essentially no victim attitude, really, and applying it to like other areas of your life.
So here's my question.
It's interesting.
This is maybe a kind of more so a profound question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So because like we're now that we're discussing this, it's like for the people that don't know, you're probably realizing like, oh, like it's on a dynamic. You know, like there's people that are really jacked that are disciplined, but they're also broke, and there is people that are jacked that are business savvy, and they understand business. They understand how to build a business, or and obviously that starts with like saying, hey, I need to build a fucking business. Like that's a priority for me. So I'm curious what your thought process is. Like, what was that point for you when you're like, because I know you did like you've done other things in like the entrepreneurial kind of space. I'm curious, like, what was that conversation with yourself when you're like, oh, I'm going to start a business, or like you're like, oh shit, I'm still broke. Like that week, 2 weeks, couple months after, while you're at work again, and the kind of like it's fading out, like you got the trophy and everything. You're like, what is that conversation like? Like, why did you want to start a business? Because I know you were already in the fitness space for a while before we even started working together. So
I'm going to have to go back to like explain the whole shift.
Yeah.
So this like after the second show in 2016, like how I said the first one, I was like, damn, I got this trophy. I did what I wanted to do. Why don't I feel any fulfillment or like my life was going to change? So I did the other show. Same thing happened. But this time it was like really bad. Like after the second time where I was like, I literally did exactly what I wanted again. I was like, why aren't I fulfilled? Why isn't anything? That's when I went down a rabbit hole of like depression for like a year and a half, 2 years. A girl that I was with for over 10 years, she left me. Great thing to happen at that time because I was already going through an identity crisis. Most of my identity literally was that relationship and bodybuilding. Yeah. That's it. So that kind of made me actually look at myself like deeply enough to try to figure out who I am. So it started with, I think I've told you I used to trade like Forex, the foreign exchange. That's when I started getting that entrepreneurial mindset. I started trading Forex, investing in crypto and stuff like that. But I wasn't really business minded at the time, but I was entrepreneurial minded. I was like, fuck a 9 to 5. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of it, but I got that mindset now, so we can't quit. So the business mindset didn't really happen until like 3 years ago, I tried to make a business with my Forex trading. It failed. And then just last year, I don't even really remember why. I just decided to do it. I was like, well, I've always followed. We've talked a lot, and you tried to get me to sign up. We've talked about it many times, and I was like, I don't know. I'm scared. I don't got the money, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then one day I was just like, it kind of just clicked. I was like, I can get people in shape. I'm jacked. I'm strong as fuck. Like, why don't I try to just make money off this and actually turn it into it'd be stupid not to. It's how I live my life. Like, why not try to make money off that? And then that reality check, it was probably, April, sometime around this time last year, between like maybe May, June, July-ish. And then that's when I just had the shift, and now here we are.
That's what's up, dude. That's what's up. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, well, one thing that I noticed, to your point of like, hey, like I can make money out of this, blah, blah, blah. I realized that way, way, way early on, like when I was like a teenager.
I wish I would have.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I didn't take advantage of it. Like I started to like a little bit when I was like 25-ish, and like, you know, I had like my Google fucking Chromebook, and I was like trying to sell to clients on Instagram and all that. But I thought it was always cool how like there was like a business side of it where like you can actually make money like on your own with the coaching. Like that's what always fascinated me. It's like you didn't have to rely on anyone else. You could just like be a coach and like sell coaching. I'm curious though, like so you started to coach, so you were into Forex, and then you started to fitness coach.
Yeah.
But you were still, because you're saying now you're in a completely different position now, but I'm just wondering like how you got to here from where you were. Like, because you were doing the business on the side, and I remember you sharing with me like your best month in the business was like $2,500, $2,500. So what made you want to like? Because that's not a lot of money for someone to stick with something for a long time. So like, what made you want to like stay with it?
I would say just the discipline and seeing it through, because before I was with you, I was with a different mentorship company, whatever you want to call it. I don't have anything bad to say about them. You know, they got me started. I was making money. I was making consistent money, just not a lot. During their program, I kind of realized it wasn't for my personality type, like how we like to coach people, like bodybuilders, like raw type,
100%.
Like do the fucking work, like no pussy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And then I remember even telling my girlfriend, because I spent a lot of money on that mentorship, and I was like, I'm not making the money I want. And I was telling her at the time, I even told her, I was like, I should have just went with Gabe instead of these people. I really did. I told her, I was like, I should, because I told her about you I was like, I know him personally. Like, he's from here. Like, he built something by himself. Like, it's not any like bullshit. And I told her, I was like, I should have did it. And I was like, I still had like, you talked to me about it too.
I was gonna say we talked in the DMs a lot.
You were like, wait a minute, because I was like, I got 2 months left,
and I was like, I would break it down to you in the DMs. I'd be like, hold on a second. So you're waiting for what? Like I was like, hey, what are we waiting for?
You were like, you're waiting to not make the money you want to then sign up with me. Looking back, I'm like, that was pretty fucking stupid.
I mean, and I don't even want to say stupid. I think it's more so like
I was like, I spent the money, I got to stay the whole time.
Yeah. Well, you need it. Exactly. You need it to, and believe me, I've done mentorships where I've invested and like a month in, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go buy something from someone else.
Yeah.
You know, because transparently, I'm in like 100K into coaching just since last year. So,
holy shit.
Yeah, I've invested a lot into coaching just because I believe in it. Like, and I think that's helped me be able to be a better business owner myself. Not just because of what I'm learning, but because of the concept of always buying fucking $10,000 coaching packages from other coaches. It's like how, if anyone can sit here and say coaching is the truth, coaching is the answer, coaching fucking works, it would be me. Because I've spent $100,000 in the past year on coaching for myself.
Sure.
So with that being said, bro, like you're fucking okay. So you're doing the business, you're working with this other coach, and I want you to talk about something here because I think this is super fucking important because I you know, and transparently, you know this because I've said this to you guys on group calls and on one-on-ones. I'm very specific about the people that I work with, like on my program. And just like how you were like cueing me in just 5 minutes ago, and you were like, kind of like, they don't talk like how we talk, and they can't sell like us. And they don't make content like us, like not the same style. And I think the important thing about that is like, what you're saying is like authenticity is like you couldn't be authentic with their model because it didn't like call for you to do so, right? And even still, right, like not saying like it was like good or bad, I just think that the core concept of like, first of all, like just being a business owner, you know, and being able to just like help your clients and all that is like authenticity, you know what I'm saying? And like, so talk about that for a little bit, because I'm curious, like, why do you think it's important to like be real? Because I see the way that you talk to your followers on your stories, and now that you're like getting more comfortable now, and how your content is now more so unraveling, like why do you think that's important? Because the way I look at it, and I'm curious what your opinion is on this, but like the way I think of it is like, if I'm not authentic, if I was never, right, even in retrospect, we could say specifically for this situation, you and I, it's like if I was never real and I was never authentic and I was playing by someone else's rules and I was holding back, then I would have never maybe influenced you, or maybe it would have taken longer, or other people I wouldn't have influenced, and maybe, you know, their lives wouldn't have changed as, you know, as soon. And I'm just curious what your opinion is on that, and what I guess what authenticity means to you just as a person.
I think it means being real to yourself to start. And if you have something to offer everybody, what is the reason to put on any type of front or make it seem like something it's not? When you're real and authentic, you show people like, hey, I'm just like you. Like, I don't always want to go to the gym. I don't always want to get my meals in, but this is what we have to do to get the result. It's funny you brought up this specific topic, because I don't know if you saw my story today. I answered a question. Someone was like, how do you manage the business and work and all that? And I took a video as I'm in the engine bay of a Cummins 350. I'm like, hey, I'm literally in this engine bay working right now. But I was like, it's hard, man. I was like, but if you want it, you got to put in the work and you got to do it. And that's authentic. I'm like, hey, like, so real. I'm like at work right now, and I'm telling you exactly how I'm doing it. I was like, I'm not going to be at my job much longer, but this is what I'm doing right now. And you know what's even funnier about that? Dude, I work with a really good group of guys, but they're ball busters.
Of course.
They see my videos, and it's like funny to them. So after I posted that, they come out, they're like, oh, you got to put in the work, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I even said that to them. I was like, you guys know why I post videos like that? I was like, I show people that I'm just like them, that I'm not better than them. There's nothing special about me. I'm working a job I don't want to work.
But I'm not just like you, and showing your Stripe, showing your Stripe payment processor.
Yeah. It's actually a really big difference.
I'm just not like you.
Yeah, that's literally what I was telling them. I was like, it's to be authentic. It's to show them like, hey, like I'm at work too. I'm tired. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. I worked a 10-hour day. Yeah. I still got to go to the gym. I still got to do my client check-ins. I still got to make my content. I still got to send my DMs.
Yep.
This shit's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
There's actually something so powerful about this point right now where you're at. Because with Gabe, although he does an incredible job, he gets in the trenches, he's sitting with you guys, like you guys are like chit-chatting, he's like, you're accessible, he has access to you guys, whatever. There is like, in some way, shape, or form, a sense of disconnect, because it's kind of like, he doesn't do like, he only does like this, there's a special thing about right now where you're like,
where I'm like the in-between.
You're right in the in-between, because you're literally like almost like a perfect example of what they can do for themselves.
That's what I tell them. I'm like, guys, you could be doing this too, but
100%.
You just settle, man. And it bothers me when I see people settle. It's like, yo, you literally don't have to, you're going to have to suffer to get out of it, but you don't have to do it, bro.
Right. It's just special, I think, because like you're in it.
Yeah.
Like, you
100%. That's why I made the countdown. I was like, I'm just going to document every single day.
Absolutely.
And I think another way of saying what he's saying too is like when you're in the trenches, and I can vividly remember, like, we'll just say, give an example here, like when I was like bouncing for $50 a week and like walking everywhere. Like the sense of drive that I had, and the sense of like the speed that I moved at was just insane, like on another level. And like now it has to be more of a like cognizant effort to like say, okay, like I'm gonna lock in, which is like interesting, right? It's crazy to think like you'll get up at fucking 4 or 5:30 in the morning for some. Again, I've worked the bullshit construction warehouse, all those jobs, and then like you do that, but then there's people that won't even do that for themselves. And like, even admittedly, as an entrepreneur, there's been many times where I've gotten lazy, where I've gotten comfortable, where I've made really good months, where I've bought a material object in and let off the gas a little bit. But I think the most important thing, and I've talked about this before, is something that I like to call like the spirit of an entrepreneur. And it's something that exists in every entrepreneur, but it's more prevalent in those that are on their way up and those that
The wolf climbing the hill.
100%. And I don't even want to say on their way up, because even guys at the highest level can access this spirit, and they do, and that's why they're successful. The way that they do it, though, is this doesn't mean that you're not grateful for your situation. This doesn't mean like any of that. It just means that you have a fire inside of you that just doesn't go out, right? And when you're broke and when you're struggling, you have an ability to I believe, more easily access that raging fire.
Because you don't have anything to lose.
Because you don't have anything to lose. You have no other fucking option, right? And I think that's so powerful, dude. Like, I always think about that. Like,
Wow.
well, you know, where you'll see, it's like cliche, right? It's like, oh, you got to make yourself uncomfortable, but it's like true. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's why I'll still fucking like sit in you know, wherever the fuck, right? I'm in Airbnb right now, but for example, Starbucks today for fucking 6 hours straight, just smashing away at the computer, smashing away at the laptop. I also think about this too, and I'm curious what your thoughts are too, because on this, I'm sure you can have a lot to say about this, but you're one of my clients, and I want to teach you guys the systems and the business acumen and all that, so you learn that, but also I want to position myself as a person that you can emulate as well. Not that you have to copy everything that you see from everyone, you know that, right? You pick and choose, and right? But to be an example of what a leader is to you guys too. And I'm curious what you think about that, because like you know, you've heard me say in our trainings before, like one of the main things that we're doing with your social media is you're becoming a notable public figure, right? And you're becoming a leader. And now I'm curious because, you know, it's so funny how, especially, dude, people in our area, right? Like the guys at your work, like the way that they would use Instagram is totally fucking different than we would use Instagram, right? And maybe even from the outside view, when you weren't starting your business, or someone that doesn't have a business, they see, you know, the selfie videos and the talking and the promotion and just helping people, right? And it's like they think it's for free, right? What is your, like, how do you get to the point where you're like making videos and giving value, and it's just like a normal part of, you're looking at Instagram as a business? Like, how do you get to that point?
How do you get to that point?
And I guess more so I'm asking, like, when does the desire to like help people, and like you said, like you hate when people, you know, fall short of what their potential is, right? You hate when people don't like apply themselves fully. What moment for you, like when was that moment for you, or like when you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna make content? And because most people can't do that, bro. Most people that are our age, especially 30, because when you're younger, it's like cooler. It's like, oh, he's 22, he's cute, right? He's building his brand.
You're too old for it.
I mean, believe me, it was like cute. Like when I was 23, they're like, oh, he's a little fitness trainer, blah blah blah. When you're fucking 30 and you have like white hairs on the sides of your, right, and you go, you're talking to your fucking camera, like you're like, and people think, what is he, a fucking motivational speaker? Like, people would say that to me, dude. I'm not gonna say any names, but all I'm saying is
this guy and this guy,
motivational speaker turned out a lot better than some of these cats out here. You know what I'm saying? That were in my DMs fucking calling me America's next top trainer. People would literally call me America's next top trainer, like as a joke. Like they would say it into my DMs. And all this shit. But regardless,
they're still watching this.
I'm curious, like how, because at some point, at some point you have to have a conversation with yourself where you're like, there's a lot of times where it's like, I don't really want to make videos. I don't want to be on camera. I don't want to this, but it's like, there has to be a point where your ability to want to remove yourself from your current situation, increase your income, and increase the impact that you have in the world, influence you have in the world, where that outweighs the negatives.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
When do you think that moment was for you, where you're like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I'm going all in on this. I don't care if I lose, because I have nothing to lose.
It was honestly probably last year, like right before I started that first fitness mentorship. I was already planning. I was like, yo, I think I want to do coaching. And the thought in my mind was, I already post, like I'd post workouts and stuff on Instagram. I wouldn't necessarily help people on Instagram, but people in my gym, my friends, anybody who ever asked me like, yo, I want to put on some muscle, I want to get lean, I would always have the answers for them because, you know, I did it so many times, so I'd always help anybody do anything. But with Instagram, I was like, I just post a bunch of bullshit. I was like, why don't I post some real shit that's actually going to help people? And it was more of, yeah, I would say like around this time last year when I started posting more fitness content. And what really did it for me was when I first started my business and I wasn't really selling yet, videos that I would post and I would imposter syndrome. So in the beginning, I was like, I don't know how I feel about posts. Like I was being raw and I was being authentic. I was trying to help people, but you have that like pinch inside of you. You're like, oh, I don't really know if this is really me, blah, blah, blah. But then people would message me who like watched that video and they say, hey, like that was a really good video. It really helped me, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when the light bulb clicked. I was like, wow. I was like, maybe people actually are watching the videos I post and getting something from it. And then being with you now, it's like in overdrive, super overdrive. And I love it. It's awesome. Now I feel like I'm not necessarily trying to make content. I'm just trying to bring my own personality and how I actually think and operate in the real world every single day so everybody can face challenges like I do, overcome them, get the results they want, and just realize like literally if I could do it, anybody can do it. From where I come from, the shit I've been through, if I could do it, anybody could fucking do it.
Love
and
that.
I'm sure you feel the same way.
100%.
Like,
I was going to say, I think
from the trenches.
You come from
the
shit,
fucking trenches.
100%. And I think something that I've noticed that you're really good at is you've taken what I've taught you, like the blueprint and everything, and all the business, knowledge that I've taught you, the modules, the trainings, whatever, and you've taken it and you've like applied it to your own personality and your own style. You basically just injected your own personality into the already existing blueprint, which again, when you do that, that's when it works the best, right? Like you said, it's on overdrive. Like it's not like you're being a different person at all. You're being more of yourself and you're making.
I'm just showing more
more
the principles from the modules as who I am.
Yeah. 100%. So, and like I said in the beginning of the podcast, but just to remind the listeners, you were at 2,500 was the most money you ever made in your business. And then how much did you make now? Like what was like the past 30 days for you?
The past 30 days was $11,800. $11,800.
Zoom in.
One fucking month. First month, Gabe no victim.
Zoom in.
This guy's got the fucking system, okay?
You hear that? Zoom in, Tyler.
And let me tell you, I said it in my I think I said it in my testimonial video. I was like, you were showing all these people hitting 10K a month, their first month. Yeah. And I was like, I believe they hit 10K. I don't know if I believe all of them are hitting 10K their first month.
Right.
But I was like, I'm going to sign up anyway, and we're just going to run it. Like you said, though, I did not deviate a fucking thing.
Well, I think another funny thing, too, like it's kind of funny now looking back, is like, we had that conversation for months. I'm like, hey, get on the team. But it was like, it went from like last year to this year. And I was like, you made the money that you invested you invested in my 6-month program. You made the money back in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like almost less than that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. So, by the way, guys, if you do want to, if you want to get results like Zach, you want to get on the elite team, you can message me the words Elite Podcast in all caps to my DMs, and we could talk about if you're a good fit for the team. You've heard it firsthand. Zach went from 2.5K a month to 11.8K a month, and he's only growing. I project, like I said, we've had conversations now about 250K a year,
20K minimum,
20K a month. Yeah, where it's like 10K a month is like, it's like riding a bike.
10, it's funny too, because like 10, I was like, that's been a dream. Like even when I was trading Forex, doing crypto, I was like, I just want to make fucking 10 grand in 1 month, and I'll be good.
100%.
Now I did 11.8. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
oh yeah.
That was fucking nothing.
Yeah,
I was like, we're just tipping the iceberg.
It was like fucking 5 clients. Like, what?
Yeah. Nah, we're just getting started.
I fucking said hi to 5 people on my way over here. You know what I mean? It's like, the fuck? So actually, I kind of want to switch gears, Bob. I don't know if you want to say something, but
that's just like funny.
I did want to switch gears here, and I wanted to talk about and just kind of cue you in on this so you can kind of get the ideas journey here. You're good. Because I know you talked about the breakup that you went through. I have a lot of clients that actually come into the program that they're like recently divorced, fiance broke up with them, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And I'm curious, like, because it's like it seems like those breakups really are a catalyst for a change in a lot of men, but also a massive positive when you find the right person and you gotta kind of have like, it's funny to think of this, but almost like a system for your relationship, right? That works for you, routines, places that you go, ways of communicating. I'm curious, like, where relationships, obviously with women, you know, have played a part in like your life, entrepreneurship, bodybuilding, and stuff like that.
Well, I've only really had like 2 real, like, legit relationships with the one that I mentioned and my girlfriend now.
Yeah.
I think that breakup, I think that literally like needed to happen for my character development. Like I said, at that time, my identity was bodybuilding and that relationship, because I dated that girl from like when I was literally like 12 years old until I was 22. And right a couple years after we started dating is when I got into the gym and bodybuilding. So my literally worked bullshit jobs, working part-time, but I didn't care. I had the girl. I was in the gym. I was bodybuilding. And I'll give my dad credit on this. There's been a few things that he was like, it's not going to work. I was like, you're crazy, bro. I was like, we're getting married. Get the hell out of here. He always told me, just because we came from such different backgrounds, she was a much wealthier, just different type of family than like a blue collar type family. He always said it was never going to work. But I think like one of the best lessons a man could have is losing the person that you think you can't live without. I think that clip it
now,
because like that's
true.
Up until that point, that was like, as long as I have her, everything's fine. I don't care if I'm broke. I don't care whatever's going on. As long as I have her, I'm fine. And then that's why I kind of went through the identity crisis after the bodybuilding show and after we broke up, because I was like, wow, I was like, the only 2 things that I identified with, one left, the other one, I still go to the gym, but like bodybuilding didn't give me what I thought it was going to give me. So it's like, damn, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Which is, but then on the other end of the spectrum, the girlfriend I'm with now, we've lived together for 4 years. She's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I think if you can get the right person that actually believes in you and supports you, that is another crutch to you as a man and your business. Because like I was telling you guys, I owe you a vacation. I know. But yeah, like
she knows.
Yeah, I work 10-hour days. I go to the gym. I train jiu-jitsu. I train kickboxing. Like, I'm going nonstop, and she's always there supporting me. Like, she works a like corporate sales job, so she's home a lot. She does a lot of work from home. Like, hey babe, can you run to the store, give me this? No problem. Hey babe, can you cook this? Can you cook some rice? No problem. She does my laundry. She folds it. She cleans the house. She does things like, I almost forget that, like, I've never had to like really like go and buy like dish soap, like toilet paper, paper towels.
That's so
not
real.
that I expected it, but she
So
just
real.
did it, and now I'm almost like conditioned, and I'm like, damn, like sometimes I forget how good that I really have it. You know what I mean? And that's huge for where I'm at now, because like at this point I kind of need that extra support, because like, dude, if she wasn't there doing that, I would have to go to the store. I'd have to get this. The place would be a mess, just because I'm so consumed with the business and where I'm trying to go.
Oh, yeah.
But it's only for that time while I'm working this job. You know what I mean? Once I'm able to quit the job, I'm going to have a lot more time. But it's the suffering for a higher purpose. You know what I mean? It's not forever. It's to get me where I'm trying to go, and then really get into actual life. Because if you want to make it big, I don't think there's even people who have you, fucking Eric Spotford, Alex Hormozy, everyone. I don't think anyone who's done anything worthwhile didn't go through that period of suffering and grinding.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
It becomes almost like a necessity, I believe.
Literally, yeah. And that's where you build a lot of character in the process too, and you can always look back on that for more fuel, more reference of who you are and the things you've been through, because it's like, if you've been through that and you made it out and everything's all good, like what are you scared about moving forward? You're not in that place. You're in a way better place. So keep fucking moving forward.
100%. I love that you said that. And shout out to Zach's girlfriend. We appreciate all the wives, all the girlfriends.
You're the best, babe.
We appreciate.
If you want
them
to
all.
write one, get an Italian one.
That's what I'm saying. Need to find me an Italian one.
I love that.
I love that. Pablo?
All her friends are taken. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You got to find better friends.
No, I was just gonna say I think that's really cool, and it's special because she's doing this for you. This is stuff is like in the background. This is like the untalked about stuff.
And she just did it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I never
she was raised
now
well.
that I asked because I'm so busy, but like ever since we moved out together, she just always did it. It's funny because like before we like actually really got into a relationship, I just had a feeling she was like that. And I pursued her relentlessly. I was like, I know she's like that. That's what I'm gonna need. I will not.
She's gonna
stop.
buy dish soap when I need it. I don't have to ask.
Dude,
I need that.
if you really think about
I
it,
was scratch and crawl for that. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's also cool. The point I was making.
the food she makes,
Oh,
bro.
dude, don't get me started.
That's a whole
the
other
food,
thing.
and it's all bodybuilding macros.
Ladies, you hear that?
yeah.
This
Nobody's
is
right.
what we need.
There's
Yeah.
like two of them listening. There's like two.
Right. They're like, I'm doing. This is what I'm already.
Well, the
doing.
other one's my mom. It's like,
Well, what's crazy though is like it gives you something to like because the classic saying like you'll fight for someone way harder before you will fight for yourself. Essentially, like you will give everything because she's giving everything for you.
Yeah.
You got a reason to be out in your DMs, to be out on Instagram.
That's another
because you're fighting for something.
Yeah.
Like you have something to
I'm
provide
like,
for.
I
you
don't,
know?
and that's another thing too. I was just telling her about this too. I was
Sure.
like, I don't want you working for some dude.
Yeah. Oh my
Like
gosh.
just
we,
that alone.
we
like,
can make the whole
fuck-
episode about that, brother. Let me
Fuck
tell you.
what I want. I don't.
Oh, dude, that's
like,
the number one reason. Let me
like,
tell you.
I don't want my girl.
It's like
like,
if your
no.
girl is working for another man, I'm just saying you should probably rethink that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't-
saying it.
that don't sit right with me anymore.
Wow.
It never sat right with me. If my fucking girlfriend, I have not dated a woman that's worked for another man since I was like fucking 23. I think that was the last time I dealt with that. I don't know whose fucking idea it was to put hot women in their 20s in an office setting with horny 40 or 50
Well, it's
year
good
old
because
men.
most she works from home.
Is it 'cause it's corporate?
That's good for now, but still,
She
she's
works.
still.
She works at home.
Yeah, most
Well,
of
that's
it,
good.
but she does like she has to go to like yeah.
No,
But
you're
I
not.
already told she
So
has
you're
to go.
so you're her at home husband and her work husband. Luckily,
yeah.
there we go.
It's working out great.
That, by the way, if your girl works in corporate with other men, guarantee she's got a work husband. Tell him,
Yeah.
Zach. Tell him, Zach.
Not mine though. Definitely
He
not
is the
mine.
work husband. She works from
Yeah.
home.
But when she has to go places, I know. I'm like, I'm telling you. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
they're gonna be looking. I was like, you better be ready.
Oh yeah.
Anywhere you
no,
go.
No. That, I agree 100%. I mean, one of my exes, I was like, it took like one incident. I'm like, yeah, you're gone. Like I'll drive you there. Just quit. And like, I don't give a fuck how much I have to make more or whatever. I would rather just pay you whatever. Just so you don't.
That actually didn't become like real to me until this month.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm
isn't
like,
that crazy? And isn't it crazy how like you can fucking take care of like someone's whole life for like $3,000 a month, 2,500. Like, you know what I mean? She's probably more like frugal, maybe fiscally minded. So, but still, it's
She
crazy.
is, but I know as we start to progress, it's
her budget's gonna go up a little bit.
Yeah,
She's gonna want the Chanel bag.
Yeah,
she's gonna
yeah,
want to
yeah.
go to the Edge in
Yeah.
New York, the tallest building.
We actually went. We went there in December. Yeah,
That's
Dude.
crazy.
yeah.
This is what I'm
It was
saying.
dope.
I want to go to the Edge.
Last weekend we just got a nice. These last 2 weekends was the most I spent on 2 dinners ever, bro.
How much you spend?
All right, like
Let's talk numbers.
It's just
Let's talk numbers,
not
Zach.
much-
Let's talk numbers.
Not much for for me. It was a lot. It was
I expect it.
this past weekend was like 240 or 250,
Yeah, it was
which
probably
she's
like
probably
two
like,
steaks
that's
like this,
fucking
right?
nothing for me over here.
the little-
yeah,
with
what's-
Like this big,
like this
with the
wrapped
little
in bacon.
with the little beef hanging off the
the
side.
steak was pretty good.
Where
The
was
last-
this?
We went to New Hope last weekend.
Oh wow!
I think it was called the Hawk. It was really good. The whole meal was phenomenal. The appetizers and everything. But the weekend before was Orchid in Bethlehem.
I know exactly. Where
The
that
steak
is.
was good, but every other part of the meal sucked, and I was pissed.
Okay, interesting. But how that was a good feeling though.
Just doing it, yeah. And then I didn't even care about the price. I was like, I don't even
Big
care.
dick in it. Just
Yeah,
It's
I was
11.
like, get whatever the fuck you want. Get 5 apps.
you pay with a card.
I put it on the business. The business credit.
basic expense.
Business credit.
Waitress comes
That's a
by.
business dinner.
Waiter comes by. He's like, can you give me a minute? We're signing a deal. We're actually doing a deal right now. Can you give us like 5?
I snapped that to all my friends too. I was like, I put my card down on the table. I was like, gotta hit him with the business credit.
Hit him with the LLC. What's your LLC called?
Freedom First Coaching.
Freedom First Coaching LLC. Hit him with that.
Damn right.
Applebee's fears him.
Fears me too. So I have to ask you this to sort of like sum it up a little bit, because I want to just like what, because obviously me and Gabe have talked about this, especially being from this area. You're not surrounded by people that are like encouraging you, pushing you, dream a little bit. No. Other way around, like
Completely.
holding you back, pulling you down. Like, be realistic. If like, come on, like
You breaking out makes them insecure.
what are you doing? Holding a mirror up to them and they don't like what they see, right? So here's the interesting thing is, and I guess my question ultimately is like, what excites you now that you're seeing because that's real life, what you just talked about. Like you're literally, there's literal money in a bank account that you earned because of a system that you followed.
Yep.
And now you're applying it to your life, and now your girl and you are eating a certain way, living a certain way. My question ultimately is, what excites you about the future? Like, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like this is just the beginning.
Yeah. So it's funny because I was literally just telling her, like, we had this huge conversation.
Sure.
We were just sitting on a bench talking. Because, like, it's been like this for, like, the last 3 years. Like, I was big in the Forex trading. That first business I started with the Forex trading.
Right.
And then last year, I was like, let me try to run up this life insurance.
Yeah,
you remember that?
I remember that.
Huge mistake.
I remember that.
But it's been, like, literally, like, 3 years of me, like, working 50, 60 hours overtime, trying to do this, trying to do that. And I'm always telling her, and she's very understanding of it, because, like, especially, like, with my gym schedule and how much I work, because I'm a discipline-oriented person. I need that structure. Even if I'm working ridiculous hours, like I have to get my meals, I have to go to the gym, or I lose it makes me feel like I lose control of my life, because when I'm working jobs, doing all this work from someone else, if I can't get that structure from myself, it makes me go crazy.
Right.
But I was literally telling her, I was like, you realize it's been like 3 years now when I've been like literally no time for anything. I was like, sacrifice this, sacrifice that, we could save money, do this. And I was like, you realize, like, now that I just had this month working with you, I was like, everything that I've like been talking about for like the last 3 years is like, it's like happening in real time. Right now.
So crazy, dude.
Right now.
Yeah. That's an amazing feeling.
And I'm still like processing it, because
of course,
it's like, that was awesome. But I'm like, oh, no. That's like, that was what I wanted to do. But now since I hit it, that's down here
now,
and now
next
we're
level.
focused way up here.
Yep.
So it's surreal.
Yeah.
It really is, because I always knew it, I always believed it, and I always felt it. I just never knew how it was going to happen. But now
I knew.
I
knew before he did.
He did. He told me, and I was like, all right, we'll see. Give me some time.
Yeah,
Give
the
me
realistic
some time.
thing, he was treading lightly for sure.
But it's surreal, because it's like, that's something I always wanted to do. And it, not that it was like effortless, but like, I don't want to say it was easy either, but it was, I don't know what the type of word I'm looking for.
I think I have a
structure.
I have a good way of explaining this.
Yeah.
I think it's what I call
it was expected.
Right. I think what it's called is at this point, exactly. It's like the slingshot analogy, right? A slingshot is like you pull this rubber band back more and more and more, and the tension gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and more resistance. There you go.
Shoot it back.
That's what I'm
Pull
saying.
it back
Same
to shoot
thing,
it
and then you
forward.
let go, and it's like you slingshot forward and you catapult, and it's like, wow, it felt effortless. It definitely wasn't easy, but it was simple, right? And it's like,
Felt like how it should have been.
all the work accumulated now leads up to that moment. And now you're having your best month ever, and it's fucking life changing. And I gotta say, even from just hearing this is like it's a very good feeling for me, brother. Because
Hell yeah.
like to be able to help.
You laid the
someone-
foundation.
It brings me back to a specific moment where I was on 611 on where Dollar General is, near like where Peischer's Market used to be.
In Mount Bethel?
Mount Bethel.
I know
near the
exactly
Mount Bethel Diner.
where that is.
And I was sitting in that parking lot, and I remember I I remember this was like a couple weeks after I was getting into it with my mom and my sister in California, and I had the sales job, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna leave. I called Nick Pfeiffer. I'm like, Nick, I was like, can you help me out? Blah, blah, blah. And his pops was like, yeah, like let him live in Joey's room, which is Joey's his brother, right? So I'm living in his room, and like I'm really frustrated, and I finally find my way through like all this bullshit. I get a bike, I graduate to a beater car, another beater car, right? And I've been through all this shit.
I've told you this before. I remembered you posting in your Instagram stories riding that fucking bike to work.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
oh yeah. I was, and it was one of those things where it was like I would get somewhere, and then I would feel like then I would just get knocked back down again. I'm like, fuck, dude, just over and over and over again. But I just remember I was like at this point where I was sitting. I'd already been through all this stuff, and I'm sitting and I bought like a composition book and a pen from Dollar General. I had like no money, and I felt like I was like, there's one side of my brain that's like get this pen and get this like notebook, and like we're just gonna start this shit from the ground up, like straight up old school style. And then there's another part of my brain that was like, you're stupid, you're a loser, like who the fuck do you think you are? Like, yeah, you're a fucking, and like I just remember both of those voices just like battling in my head, and just feeling like literally brought to tears in that parking lot, feeling like shit because I didn't know what to do, and I felt like a loser. You know, I was like, a lot around the time too, like my mom was going through stuff, my sister, my brother, like, and I just couldn't help them the way that I wanted to. And it always brings me back to that moment. And there were so many moments like that where now, because I'm always talking about that stuff and talking to people that are in that position now in my content, and I really have like a soft spot for people like that are especially in shape, because like if you're in shape and you're jacked, like you already have like a level of understanding that other people just don't about like bodybuilding and all of that, right? And I feel so much for those people, because the truth is like bodybuilders are some of the hardest working people on the planet. Like no matter how you cut it, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, the level that what is required to be just even a decent bodybuilder is like insane. So I always will have respect for them, always have respect for the sport, but also in the same token, there's this deep rooted, like, you know, I guess desire to want to help other bodybuilders and personal trainers that are in that situation and make money, because I know, like, right, it's like you're not in shape, and then you get in shape and you're like, I can't really put my finger on it. There really isn't words for it, but this is really, really fucking good. A lot better than not being in shape.
Yeah.
Can't really put my finger on it, but this is way, like, life is different.
Because you can't fake that.
You can't fake
being
it.
in shape.
You can't fake being in shape.
You can't buy it. You can't steal it.
You can't buy it. You can't steal it, right? And I think, well, but that feeling like, oh, wait a second. I'm part of a small percentage of people that feel this way, and I can't let this be normal, because if I overlook this, then I'm not going to be able to share it with other people that aren't in this, right? So that's when I started to turn it into a business, where I was like, guys, that's how I started to use in my marketing. I was like, this ain't about a six pack. I'm like, you guys don't even see life through the lens of my eyes because you're not in shape. Then when people are like, right, then I would set the frame for the experience, right? And then people would come into my program and they would get a six pack, and they'd be like, fat their whole lives, they get a six pack, and that's like secondary now, right? It's like, well, I'm a disciplined man. I love myself again. I always tell my elite clients, right? I said it on group calls. I ask them, it's a rhetorical question, right? There's really no answer to it, right? I go, guys, what's the price of loving yourself again after not for 25 years? There's no price, right? You can't put a price on it, right? And that's what I always talk about. But even with the business, right, is like, I know what it feels like to be broke and then make a fuck ton of money, and how much it changes completely. Like, there's something so real about the number in your bank account, and just like you're paying bills, and it's like you're good. Like, you could go to dinner, yourself. You're paying your bills, you're taking care of yourself. There's something so real when you have that. Like, it feels like extra money.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now.
It's an amazing feeling, bro. Yeah, I love that.
It's surreal because it's something you've never had before, and you're like, I didn't even go to work for this shit. Like, I did this shit.
Yeah, bro.
I did it.
Literally built a fucking business
Yeah.
and reaped the rewards of it, man.
Yeah.
Proud of you guys.
Sick. Pablo, is there anything you want to add in, tap in on before we end here? Or
No, I'm good. I hate to be that guy. I just know we have the next podcast person lined up ready to go.
We'll
This was really good, though, if I can just
Yeah,
say.
this was
It was
awesome.
great.
This was great.
you want to
Conversation.
plug anything? Or?
No, I'm good. I'll do it on the next one.
Okay,
All
cool.
good.
Makes sense.
No worries.
So guys, with that being said, well, first of all, dude, thanks for coming on.
Thank
This
you.
is
Thanks
a
for having
really,
me.
really good podcast, man.
Yeah, this was
genuinely.
awesome.
This is your first podcast?
Yeah.
First
Dude.
ever.
Hopefully, you get into a lot more now.
Man.
Was
So
awesome.
now going forward, if there's individuals that are struggling with their weight, struggling with their physique, and they like you as a person, and they maybe want to work with you, where can they get in contact with you? Where can they find you?
I'm most active on Instagram at Zach Freedom First. I just started my first YouTube as well. It's the same thing at Zach Freedom First, but Instagram is definitely the best spot to contact me. I'm posting on there 10 stories, 2 reels every day.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, but I talk to anybody. Even if you don't sign up with me, I'm still going to give you advice. I'm not an asshole trying to keep all the secrets. I will help anybody
Love
do
it.
anything.
Yeah, Zach. I'll say Zach gives a ton of free information away on his Instagram, and it's super valuable. So, Pablo, any closing statements?
That was really inspiring.
This is a really good pod, brother. Really,
It was
hyped about
fun.
this.
Yeah.
Bro, because
I
like, don't get me wrong, like we interview, like we've been with, like we meet a lot of people, we interview a lot of people, I film a lot of different people, but it's just like there's something that hits so hard, like it just hits a different way when they're from home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Like,
a real motherfucker, dude.
Like
This
we're-
was great.
You know
This
what I
was
mean?
great.
Like you're right here. Like
We
we're-
all came from the same place.
Yeah.
and,
yeah.
I mean, you
We're
guys
all in the
you
same
guys
place.
are all up. I'm on my
well,
way
no,
up.
bro.
You'll be there.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're all there.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like
We'll
we're
all
all the
be there.
same.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Last thing I'll say real fast. I remember a little while, I don't remember when. It was years ago. And I was lifting with Gabe, and obviously he's huge, and I wasn't. Right? Stronger than me, all the things. But like still my best friend. And I remember saying to him, like, it's a classic thing, like when you work out with someone that's not quite as strong as you, like you have to kind of like go back and forth and like put stuff on the rack, take it back off, like,
yeah.
so that I can lift and vice versa. I remember saying to him, I was like, bro, like I wish I was as strong as you, you know? And he responded without missing a beat. I don't even remember this. He literally just looked me right in the eyes. He was like, Pablo, I'm just as weak as you. And I was like, what? And he was like, aren't you just chasing the next amount of weight? And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, me too.
Facts.
And I was like, wow.
It's all relative.
So like,
That's real shit.
bro, right? So like you're saying like, oh, you guys are here, and we're all the same.
yeah, we're all the same
we're
journey.
right
Yeah.
there, like
Yeah.
still doing the same thing.
What unites us is the spirit of the entrepreneur. Is that we
That's it.
all have it.
The grit, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That's it. It's the grit, man.
We're still in the trenches,
It's the
just
love,
like anyone
it's
else.
the love of the
Yeah.
game, dude. Sheesh. With that being said, we'll end off here. Anything else?
No, episode 18, is that it?
Episode 18 coming to a close. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Peace.